Scott, just how important is anti-racism in football these days?
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, all around the country, everyone's sending the same message to try and kick it out of the game, but not just in football, but in all walks of life as well. There's no place for it in any walk of life or in any shape or form. And I think in this country we've worked it quite well, but in other countries maybe they've not developed it quite how they should have done. I think Napoli got fined £20,000 for abusing Samuel Eto'o, and that's not enough, to be honest. I think it should be a lot more than that.
You're the club's ambassador for this. What can you do?
I don't know, to be honest. All I can do is just try and spread the message as best I can, and if anyone wants to ask me anything about the campaign, then I'm more than happy to help. And like I say, just help spread the word really, and the feeling across the game that nobody wants to see it and there's no place for it in any shape or form.
And what can the average fan do? Because I suppose it manifests itself most obviously from chants on the terraces.
Yeah, I think most fans would agree that there's no place for it in football. And I think if any fan was to see anything or hear anything that was out of order, then I think that they're well within their right to say something and definitely mention it to the nearest steward, who then they should get kicked out of the ground and be banned from football for life.
Where do you draw the line? Because obviously there's racism in terms of the colour of a player's skin, but there's also racism in terms of if a player comes from Wales, for instance, they might have chants made about them with sheep. Sexism, if a female physio runs onto the pitch, that sometimes gets a reaction from a child or a women referee. Where do you draw the line?
It's difficult to say, to be honest, because you always have, especially when you play Welsh clubs and things like that, then the chance will always be towards Welsh players. But I think that obviously the main thing is the stereotypical, the colour of people's skin and things like that. I think that's where we firstly need to draw the line, and then once that's all gone, then you can move on to things like nationality and things like that. I think Cantona found it very difficult when he first came over. People calling him French and things like that, and he couldn't cope with it. I think French garlic or something like that, something stupid like that. But like I say, I think the colour of people's skin is the most important, and stop the stupid shouts that you get from the crowd, which are totally out of order.
I mean, how much have you talked to black players about this over the years? I'm thinking of someone like Barry Hales, who long career and probably would have seen things change over the years.
Yeah, I think Baz said he had a little bit when I'm sure he's had quite a lot, but I think nowadays there's hardly any of it about. It's just the odd idiot that shouts things from the crowd, and that's what we're looking to stamp out totally. I think it would, like campaigns like the Kick It Out campaign have worked wonders, kicking it out the game, and it's come on massively, especially in the last 5-10 years compared to what it used to be. Especially the only disappointing thing is when you go to places like England play Spain a couple of years ago, and Sean Wright-Phillips, every time they got the ball they were giving him monkey shouts and things like that, and it's just not right. It's just totally out of order, and it brings you back to what the dark days were like.
And just to be clear, virtually unheard of on the pitch these days in terms of player to player.
No, not at all. I've never heard anything at all like that. So I think even if one of my teammates said something, you'd have to have a word, because it's totally out of order, and can't stand it. Can't stand for it. Sorry.
Football's obviously making a stand. How much can this then sort of spread into wider society?
Yeah, like I say, hopefully football. I mean, a lot of people look up to football as a role model, and football players as a role model. So hopefully, if they say us trying to kick it out of the game, then we can get that into the general walk of life as well, and start spreading the word even wider.
If we can look at this Saturday's game against Port Vale, obviously one name stands out in their team. Someone you probably knew quite well from training last year, yeah. Justin Richards. What was he like in training to face?
Justin, for someone that scores 15 goals in a team that finishes third from bottom, he's going to be a handful, and we know that the two Richards up front are good players, but they've got a good team all round, a good manager, and we know we're up for a tough game on Saturday, but we're at home and we've got to look to take the game to them.
Yeah, you mentioned that home form. It has been really good this season. I suppose this is going to be a test of Fortress Wadden.
Yeah, I think this will probably be the biggest test we've had so far. They're good away from home. They don't concede many goals, and hopefully we can turn up Saturday with a good frame of mind and come on and take the game to them, put them under pressure right from the off. Great stuff, Scott. Thank you. No problem at all.
Yeah, Scott, you played some of the so-called favourites away from home, haven't you? Gillingham at the start of the season were one of the favourites. Rotherham, Chesterfield, Bradford will probably be up there. This is probably the first time you've had a real front runner at home, isn't it? So a really good chance for you to measure yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I think we've had some very tough games away from home, but Saturday will be the biggest test we've had at home so far. They're a good team, good manager, and they'll bring a good following, I'm sure, like they did last year. And I'm sure I don't think they've won for 3 games, but I don't think they've lost either for 3 games. So we know it'll be a tough game, and like I say, hopefully first 10-15 minutes we'll take the game to them and put them under pressure right from the off.
Yeah, but at the moment with your home record, you probably feel confident of giving anyone a game. If you can get a result against Port Vale, you can genuinely claim to be confident of winning all home games this season, really.
Yeah, like I say, Port Vale's probably the toughest test we've had so far at home. So, like I say, if we can get something out of the game, or hopefully 3 points out of the game Saturday, then we know that we can take on anyone at our home ground. We know that we can take anyone away from home as well, but we're just not taking that into games at the moment. So it's something we need to work on, but we just need to concentrate on the home game on Saturday for now.
Yeah, and just on Justin Richards, I mean, you would have played against him in training and stuff, and seen all the goals he scored last year, which you said was a really good achievement for a team that were down there. What do you think he's got that makes him so lively in the box and get so many goals?
He just some people have said to me, well, he scored 5 or 6 penalties last year. So you've still got to put them away. I think he only missed 1 out of 6 or 7, so he's a handful. We know he's going to be a handful, and we've got to keep him quiet on Saturday. It's not just Justin as well, it's Mark as well. He's scored goals wherever he's been. I think did Keith try and sign him? Yeah. I think a few years ago. He's a handful as well, so the two of them up front will be a handful, and we've got to hopefully keep them quiet.
Yeah.